let's be blunt with this in the aspect of, are anabolic steroids in bodybuilding in general, in sports in general? And the answer is yes. Yes, they are. Especially when we're talking about NPC IFBB, we're talking about an organization that does not test for anabolic steroids. They don't test for anything. So it's open game to do it. Obviously, I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying it's something that you have to do. Obviously, if you tread that water, you're treading a fine line of legal versus illegal when we're talking about supplementation, right? But what I will say is this. If you want to be a true high-level national bodybuilder and you want to actually stand on stage as a bodybuilder, majority bodybuilding class, I would say, to put on the amount of muscle tissue to have that look, one, it takes time. Two, it takes effort. And the third is it does take some sort of anabolics to get you to that point, to be real. Anybody else that's been doing this for years, majority of them have been on anabolics at some point in time. With that being said, anabolics don't do the work for you.
Easy work.
There's not a single thing aside from the fact that anabolics help you recover, and they help out with strength and kind of mental focus in some aspects, depending upon what you're taking. And then they also do help out with fat burning. So it does help out with some thermogenesis aspects. So they are helpful in those processes. But again, the idea that I need to get across to anybody and everybody that looks at this is understanding that the drugs aren't going to get you up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do your cardio. The drugs aren't going to make you eat every single meal to a T. The drugs aren't going to make you push heavier weight than your mind could ever think that you possibly could push. The drugs aren't going to make you be able to literally push your body past the point where most people would end up giving up. Today I'm on a refeed, so my face is filled back out a little bit. But when I came in here and worked out in here Sunday night, did my legs and then did cardio, I walked over and looked at my face, and my face was completely sunk all the way out. So.
Yeah, so like this weekend, he's got 1,000,001 things going on, and that's why I have a totally different respect for him. A lot of bodybuilders, some of them don't even have a lot of jobs and not too many other responsibilities. I mean, he has a family, he has numerous gyms, his training and coaching business. So my hat goes off to him, because he definitely, and it's very inspiring how he can balance everything. But this weekend though, no, I know he went on a hiking trip with his family. He went to Colorado. He also went to the Amber's gym up there, which I know he was excited about that. But I figured this too, that he was going to end up losing a bunch of weight this weekend. He has a very fast metabolism, naturally. So the fact that he was going to be more active, he just spun through food. I think he ended up losing 4 pounds to be exact in a 2-day time span. So what we did today was we pulled his cardio, and today we did a heavy refeed day today. And I'm anticipating that he'll probably look his absolute best that he's looked his entire prep. Probably, I'm gonna say maybe either tomorrow. Definitely, he's gonna probably look his best Thursday morning.
So we took the trip to Colorado this weekend, and I knew that difference in elevation / the fact that I was going to be a little bit more active with hiking and all that stuff, that we might see a decent drop in weight. And from Friday to Monday, we ended up dropping about 3 pounds. So it was funny. Dom and I were talking, and he's like, I don't know who the hell gets 2 weeks of progress in 3 days, but you just did. So needless to say, today we've done a refeed. We'll kind of see where my body's at tomorrow and see how we're progressing forward. But I mean, like I told him, it's one of those things of my body does this every time. For whatever reason, when I get around like 230 to 225, my body will typically get into a place where it's happy. My health markers go right up to like a really good spot. My blood pressure drops all the way down to normal, if not below normal. And everything just kind of clicks. My body just moves in the right direction. And so at that point in time, my body pretty much just turns into a fat burning machine. And so I burn through everything fast. Last year, I had the same kind of issue happen. And there was actually one time where in a day, in a 24-hour period, I actually ended up dropping about 6 pounds overnight. So my body does this. I understand that. And I knew that going into this. I didn't expect as big of a drop this weekend just because of the fact that Friday was a high carb day. Saturday we did a low day just because it was an off day anyways. We did most of the hiking on Saturday, and I really didn't think about the fact that with added altitude, it's already harder to breathe. So you add that to hiking, and I'm burning way more calories than what I would normally burn doing any sort of cardio. So even though, the hike was maybe an hour long of actual incline hiking, you got to figure with the acclimation to the altitude and all of that, my body was burning through a lot more calories. And just throughout the day, my body was burning through a lot more calories just because I'm not used to that oxygen level. So I was having to actually breathe a little bit more and whatnot. And so, the thing about it is, this is the reason why I tell everybody to stick to their plan 100%, because, the whole entire time I was out there, I was eating all of my meals, all of them were cold, just eating them as it was, and just sticking to the plan. And the scale that I brought actually broke, so I couldn't even check the scale each day, so we had no idea. So I knew when I got back on Sunday that I had dropped, only because of the fact that I did a leg day. I drove from Colorado back here on Sunday. We left Colorado about 6 in the morning and got back here about 9:30 after stopping and seeing relatives. And got the leg workout in. Felt great. And then did about 15 minutes of cardio after the leg workout. Looked in the mirror and my face hasn't been that sunken in since last prep. And you can start to see it now where my face is a lot more sunken in than it was even last week. But even right now, this isn't nearly as sunken as it was on Sunday night. So I'm like, oh, I've lost a lot. And then woke up the next morning down 3 pounds in basically 3 days. So, body really kicked up. And then last night again, we had an off day yesterday. I didn't do cardio. I didn't do workout, nothing. We lost about another pound overnight. And so my body's just really kicking right now. So, we'll do the refeed today. We'll see kind of how my body does with it. We're somewhere all said and done. It'll probably be right around 600, 700 grams of carbs total across the day. Fats are still pretty low. And we'll see how my body looks tomorrow morning. Last time we did this, I went up about 3 pounds. Most of it's water retention. I drop it within 48 hours and then I'm right back down to the low again. So we'll kind of see how my body responds. But with all of that happening and with my body kind of progressing at a faster pace than what we had anticipated, what we're going to end up doing is focusing in on bringing basically full force for Omaha. Trying to bring something just absolutely shredded and gnarly for Omaha. So that way we can have some fun in Omaha. And then it'll be basically just rebuilding into North Americans and pushing my weight back up and filling me back out while keeping my conditioning. So I posted something on social media. It's a lot like what I did with Jason May, one of my clients last year. And he did North Americans and then we did Nationals in December. So it was obviously a longer time frame, but he went from decently, moderately conditioned at North Americans to overly conditioned and up a weight class at Nationals. And so I know that it can happen. I know that it can work. And so I think with Dom and I working hand in hand on this, I think we can actually bring something even fuller, bigger, and just as lean for North Americans 7 weeks after we do Omaha. So we'll kind of see how the body responds and play with it from there. Again, this is a different approach. I've never kept fats in to the rate that we have this time around. I've never had my body respond as good as it has. I mean, you got to think, I was looking at it today. We've really only been in prep for 6 weeks, not even 6 weeks. And my body basically in 6 weeks has dropped 18 pounds. So you got to figure my body's on overdrive right now. And realistically, my size hasn't gotten any smaller. I've kept a lot of my muscle tissue, majority of my muscle tissue, but we've just been dialing in body fat and it's just been peeling off quick. And so I think there's a lesson to be learned here, and that is don't compete every year. I think the 3 years off actually allowed my body to kind of heal up. It allowed my body to be prepped and primed to do this. And then on top of that, in my off season, I was still 90% of the time on point with clean food. So I never let myself get severely out of shape. If anything, I enjoyed meals with family and whatnot, but I just kept it within range. So, you know, I think there is some rhyme and reason to why my body's responding the way it is now. I think age has something to do with that as well. I think my body's acclimated to what we're doing. And I still think probably in the next 4 weeks here, 3 to 4 weeks here, as we pull me down further, I am gonna start feeling like shit just because I haven't been that lean for a while. But it's weird because I don't really feel bad. Like, not irritable, not hungry, like overly hungry. My body's just kicking, and I'm sleeping good still, aside from the kids waking me up. So it's weird because preps don't normally go like this. You don't normally feel good as you're prepping. So it's a different experience, but it's kind of fun.